Hey, everybody, welcome back to this live episode of Think Business. I'm looking forward to having David Fishman. David, owner of Cadillac Travel Group for almost 40 years. What a timely and relevant discussion. I'm so glad to have you on the show talking about travel. I want to recap as we sit here live on July 19th, 2021. We are coming out of COVID and an endemic, I think, or thoughts. And now there is the Delta variant and this and the other. And I can say this for sure. My son had a spring break last April, and one of the greatest things that all of the families did was this one group. We had an advocate and a travel agency that did everything for us. So when COVID hit, we had advocates, and it was great. I am a big fan of doing nothing by myself. I love advocates. I love coaches. I love mentors.
Right.
So as we sit here, where I'd love to kind of kick things off as we sit here, I think travel is very confusing right now. Especially for the do-it-yourselfers. I don't think it's as easy today to hop on Expedia, hop on, Delta.com, or and book a trip. There's so much fine print. You need somebody protecting you. So can you kind of take me and the Think community, where are we as far as the travel and how do we book a trip safely today?
Well, it's the most sites online are travel. Okay. Next to health, the number one Googled term is travel. So
Really?
It's just, yes. That's the thing that don't realize. It's something like 13 billion requests a year for travel. It's
Wow.
It's absorbent, huge number. So with the most sites on the internet, the World Wide Web is travel. There's just too much information.
Yeah.
It's information overload. That's A. And then the second part is, who are you talking to? I am a French model because it says so online. You have no idea who you're talking to. I always say, here's a picture of the hotel, of the grounds and everything, but you never see a room.
Yeah.
Or there's just drawings. Do not go there.
Yeah.
Okay? And the third part is who's giving these reviews? Do they have the same tastes as you? Or is it, there was an actual show that showed 300,000 people in China were doing reviews for companies.
Yeah.
So you don't know anything. It's just so arbitrary out there.
Yeah.
So you need someone to navigate you through these waters, so you don't get there and not have a problem. And or nowadays, to take it to a whole nother level, is, can I go there? What are the rules when I'm there? Okay, what are the rules to get in? What are the rules to get back home? What's the occupancy? What are we doing? What's with vaccines? What's with testing? These things are really in a constant evolution and change also. So it's really important to have someone with you while you're doing this to make sure that you know what you're getting and know what to expect. And then the last part that's really important is you need to have protection.
Yeah.
You need travel insurance because there are going to be changes and there are going to be things that happen. So we have to make sure that if it does, you're protected. You're either going to get home, you're going to get your money back, or any of those two things, which are truly the most important things.
Yeah. Well, I think you just gave a great summary of kind of a master's PhD of why to use a travel agent, right? And there are so many reasons, but I want to dive in a little bit about, I want to talk to the do-it-yourselfers a little bit more, because I think, people look at things two ways, as an investment or as an expense.
Yeah.
And so, I think a lot of times too many people in business and in life look at things as an expense when they should think of it as an investment, right? Short-term savings, long-term pain. I don't even know if that's a phrase, but I'm making it up. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah, that works.
And so talk about investing in a travel agent, even though you can maybe do certain things by yourself, and what the investment really does for your mindset, your psyche, and all of that.
Well, the thing is that it's value. The number one thing that people don't have enough of with a bullet is, it's not money. It's
Right.
time.
Time.
What can't you buy? Time. So the value there the average person spends 27 hours researching a 4-day vacation.
Is that a stat?
That's a statistic. The
So
average
wait,
individual,
say that again. Say that again. So the average
individual spends 27 hours researching a 4-day vacation. Okay. Wow. And the normal person, the average person goes to about 10 or 11 sites before they purchase just an airline ticket. So the number one waster of time used to be, drum roll please, TV. Now it's this thing, I don't know, it's one of these things, okay? This is the time sucker, okay? So what's really important is that you understand the value of your time, and then the value of knowledge. Knowledge is invaluable.
Right.
We were talking a little bit offline how I want to tap into your knowledge to make me even better in what I do as a business person.
Yeah.
Well, knowledge is very. I have over 400 years of travel destination knowledge in my office.
Wow.
That's invaluable.
Yeah.
And the third part is relationships. Relationships are huge. So what does that do? Through my consortiums and places I belong to, I can find you savings or discounts that may not be available online. And then B, if you have a situation, you have a problem, I can solve it so much easier than you. I just yesterday we were talking about a friend of my significant others they booked it themselves, and the kids are booked on different flights than the parents.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it, but somehow it happened that way. And now 5 hours later of waiting on the phone, they're still having issues. They're trying to solve this problem.
Yeah.
So
right. And by the way, there's headaches. I'm going to just point this out. Forget all the headaches and everything you're talking about. Nobody knows the right person to actually call. You don't know who to get hold of. So you need that person who knows who to actually call. So, we all, as a business coach, I talk a lot about, what's your hourly rate and what do you make an hour and how do you value your time and what do you delegate? So it's the same thing. I go through that process whenever I have to do something. And so that's why I use Instacart or Grubhub or Amazon, because I understand what I want my time to be worth or my relaxation time to be plentiful. So I think what you're talking about is great. And I think it is an investment, and it ultimately saves you time and saves you headaches and saves you.
It actually saves you money. It actually saves you money.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite is I talk to, people that are CEOs of major companies. They go, oh yeah, I do my travel myself. They could be worth thousands of dollars an hour. Okay. Right. These people, well, I do it when I get home, or I do it when I put the kids to bed at night. I go, do you want to hang with your wife? Do you want to go watch something on TV? Do you want to enjoy yourself? Or do you want to do this when your time is so much more precious?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then I save you money. I save you money half the, like 3/4 of the time than what you can even find yourself. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just kind of ludicrous, but we're very touchy feely, and I can do it myself because I am a doctor. It's funny. I'll mention this story. On Saturday night, girlfriend's son had something on his side of his head, and we spent they went from psoriasis, eczema to he's gonna have cancer and dying in 5 minutes. I'm like, stop! Don't look at the internet anymore, please stop. Yeah. You're not a doctor. You're not gonna do this.
No, you can't do it. You cannot do it. I love it. All right, wait. Let's rewind a little bit, David, because your business has been in business for almost 4 decades. And you talked about the relationships that you have and that you have built over the years. What's the secret to building a business that lasts almost 40 years?
Wow, that's it's one thing I said when people always ask me, how have you stayed in business that long? I mean, first of all, I started when I was 2, so it's a child prodigy because they can't be that old.
Right.
But besides that, the main thing that I say that sets us apart and keeps us in business all the years is we care.
Yeah.
We want it to be right. And it is frustrating. We have a lot of frustrations because we can do it all right. And then there's problems with your flight, problems with the hotel, problems with the cruise, problems with the car rental. It goes on and on. So but we want to do things right. We want them to have a memories of a lifetime, because that's what this is about. It's invaluable, the memories. That's the best investment you can ever make, okay, than any toy you'll ever get. And so we care about making things happen so you have the greatest experience that you can. And then even if it doesn't work out, we people know that we're going to do our best to fix it while they're there, fix it before they go, fix it after they come back. So they know they have someone that cares. And that's really what has set us apart.
Yeah. Who planted that seed in you? Like, if you just rewind to the mentors in your life, right? Because that philosophy of we care sounds like it's more deep rooted. It just happens to be applied to your current business. But where was that seed planted?
That was at birth.
Yeah.
My father, two things. If you work hard and you do the right thing, I think that's the thing that was drummed in my head. Work hard, do the right thing, and then everything will just work out. And that's kind of been how I've always, applied myself in the business I'm in. And I don't always say, there's many people that will get into business and say, I won't do that. It's beneath me or something like that. I won't empty the garbage cans or whatever. I've always instilled in the people working with me and myself that whatever needs to be done to get the job done, to take care of our clients, is what we need to do. And that's it, period. And that's what I was raised that way.
Yeah.
So I think that comes from how I was raised more than what I learned along the lines in business.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel the same way. My dad was a dentist, and I've read so many books and listened and this and the other, but how I watched him build his business and work and, treat his patients and his staff, that just, you begin to learn more. I want to chat about this for a moment, because it seems like travel in general gets more and more expensive as the time goes on. It's like it's hard to find that economical vacation, that vacation that's economically priced for a family. And so, what do families do? Like, what are different types of trips that people can take? I know you do like huge excursions, and we'll get into that in a minute, but kind of like that, 3, 4, 5 day trip that kind of anybody can, not anybody, but if saved and this and the other, people can experience, where because there's a lot of people coming out of COVID who are financially struggling a bit. So what is a kind of a middle of the road vacation these days?
Well, there's one major key, well, two, of saving money in travel, but really the one major one is flexibility.
Yeah.
If you're flexible and you plan ahead, those two things, you can save a ton of money on travel.
Right.
And it's also, it's seasonal things. Something, if you went to Europe in, late fall or winter time, you can go for what could be half the price, and you're not sitting on a beach usually. So, it just depends on how flexible you are in really understanding what you're looking for. Some people, I want to go someplace warm. It's like, we got to narrow it down a little bit. So if you are flexible and you kind of know what you want to do and you plan ahead, you can save a lot of money in travel.
Yeah. But what I'm hearing you say also is, if you have the right, if somebody calls you, you're able to help them plan ahead, figure out something within their budget, give them alternatives of things they're probably not thinking about. That to me is, especially for these do-it-yourselfers, it's a reason to use a travel agent, because they can fit something, not only your ideal trip, in your budget and kind of work with you.
Well, one of my favorite things, I've done a lot of bridal shows because we do a ton of honeymoons and destination weddings. And someone would go by and I go, what size shoe do you wear? They go, look at me like I'm crazy. I go, what size shoe do you wear? I wear size 6. I go, well, I'll sell you a size 8. Will that work for you? And they go, what are you talking about? I go, well, that's what the internet's going to do. That's what the boot down the hall that just wants to sell you sandals or one specific thing.
Right.
It's not a one size fit all. So we really take the time to really find out what your budget is, what works for you.
Yeah.
And make sure you go on that right vacation at the right price, so you have truly the best experience you can.
Yeah. I love it. As a business owner of somebody whose business has been hit over the last year and a half, and now people are traveling again and moving back into this space.
Yeah.
What's one thing that's still keeping you up at night as you continue to evolve your business post-COVID?
Couple things. One is the dust is still not settled. I mean, I'm planning trips for people, and sometimes they get canceled again, and that just drives me crazy. We planned some trips 4 or 5 times for people during COVID. They had the original trip, we canceled. I mean, that's the other thing. We were canceling half of 2019. People don't plan their trips tomorrow. So I mean, we were in the office working, but we're down 110, 108% people. That's impossible. I go, no, that's the nature of the business. So now we're planning again 4th and 5th time. Now we make sure people are protected, but that's what keeps me up at night, is just redoing work without any income, to be very honest. That is one of the more challenging things.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have persevered through the last year and a half. Where is the business today? Where is the travel business today? Not only you maybe, globally, but for you.
We're as our own Cadillac Travel numbers over, year over year. We look at 2019. We don't look at, 2020 at all. So right now we're at about 60 to 70% of where we were.
Yeah.
So, the goal is obviously to get at least to 100% or more. Yeah. I do not think that business travel will ever be the same. So that is going to be more impact. I do more groups, leisure travel. One place that we should talk about is, I do think incentive travel will become even bigger in regards to business, because incentivizing people with experiences and memories and bonding experiences makes them more productive when they get back to the office, and drives them even more, because that's another piece that will be even bigger, as well as the bucket lists, the dream vacations. People are going to go, no, I'm not waiting anymore.
Right. I'm not waiting until I'm 75.
I'm not waiting.
55. Right. Yeah.
I don't 100%. Know when I'm going to, I don't know when I'm going to lock to my house again. They're actually calling it revenge travel. I'm having revenge for 2020. And so people are just, they're not going to, wait on those experiences and those opportunities to have those, take your family or go on that safari or go to Antarctica or go to something unique and special. It's even more important than it's ever been.
Yeah. Good. Let me ask you a question. Incentive travel. Talk about that for 30 seconds. What exactly does that mean for a business?
See, there's only 3 types of incentives that exist in the world. There's cash, merchandise, and travel. Now, cash, as soon as you give someone a cash bonus, they lose 20 to 30% right off the bat. The government takes it. So immediately they get that bonus, and they're like, they're already upset as soon as you hand it to them. The next thing they do is they pay bills with it. So automatically you start losing the value. They don't remember it. They don't tell anyone about it. When's the last time anyone told you about their cash bonus? Doesn't happen. Merchandise, they either have it, it's not the one they want, or it's just something they don't need. Yeah. Okay. Travel. Okay. It is the thing people want the most. It's the thing that they'll talk about the most. It's the experience that, Bob sitting next to Jim or Sue. Bob won the trip. Sue didn't. Bob comes back. He's relaxed. He's happy. He's telling the stories of the things that they did and all the experiences they had. And Sue and Jim are sitting there going, I've got to get on that trip next year.
Yeah.
Plus the bonding of the people together that are on the trip it's priceless. So incentive travel can be reward travel just for doing a great job, or it can be something that they earn, any number of different things, but it will pay you back 10 times, tenfold than any other investment you'll make to incentivize or reward your staff.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. I think it is priceless, and that's going to glue not only the people at work, but also the family members, to say like, okay, you can stay an extra hour because I know we may get a trip to Disney World, if yada, yada. The you get the whole family in. Yeah, no, I love that.
It's funny. We kicked off a incentive travel trip once that way by sending a postcard home about winning the trip to Disney. His wife is like, "Go to work."
Yeah, right, right,
So.
right, exactly. All right, good. You ready for a quick speed round?
Sure.
All right. Biggest lesson learned through COVID?
Things will constantly change.
Favorite book and why?
Wow. That's a great question. And I don't know if I have a specific answer to it. Because I think every different books have different things for me. I like Blink a lot. I like things, Martin Gladwell, where I learned about, wow, it's like, why are all the hockey players born in January,
February? Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that kind of stuff. It's like, wow. It's like, boom.
Yeah. All right, good. I love it. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
Best piece of wisdom. Treat everybody. Everyone's pretty much puts their pants on the same. Everyone has value, whether they're sweeping streets or running the largest company in the world.
Yeah.
If you treat everyone the same, that they're valuable, it will pay in 10 times over.
I agree with that. My parents raised me that way. You can always learn something from somebody older and younger than you.
Yeah.
Last question. Fast forward 100 years. What do you want your legacy to be, David?
Well, it's funny because I've probably gone to, because I, was always taught to do the right thing, too many funerals. So the thing that always stood out to me at every funeral, which is ironic, is the only thing you leave behind is a good name.
Yeah.
So I think 100 years from now, I just want to be remembered as that person that treated everyone well, that was that kind, compassionate, good person, whether it was in business, personal, or whatever I've done, that made people feel good.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to do.
Tell everybody your ideal clients and how they can connect with you, David.
My ideal clients are ones that want to be taken care of, allow me to do for them so they don't have to do it themselves. And so that's really the people that I really love to help, is the ones that really enjoy allowing me to help them instead of them jumping in and trying to get involved. Too many chefs in the kitchen, will ruin the meal. So,
I appreciate that. A couple of final thoughts I have are, I love how you talk about the foundation of Just We Care as you have built your business over the years. I think it's so important. And to me, I think sometimes people care, but they don't know how to infuse it internally or effectively communicate it, not only internally, but externally as well. And so to have a business that's been around for almost 40 years, you seem to have mastered the recipe. In an industry that has been, hit hard with competition, that you can, and the e-commerce world, kudos to you for, being the fish boat, and that kind of comes out the other end. And, you really define working hard, doing things the right way, and just staying at it. Congratulations on getting through COVID. I'm glad you're back to some solid numbers from 2019. And your story is inspiring, because I think a lot of people would think, oh, we're talking to a travel agent. They probably are just continually struggling, but you've persevered, you're getting, and you do great work. So any final thoughts, David?
No, it's important for people to realize that all businesses around, especially locally, the other thing, you go online, you don't know, you're not doing necessarily business in the state of Michigan. You got to support people. And so I think that's important for people to remember, saving 5 cents can cost you 10.
Absolutely. Actually, I think saving 5 cents can actually cost you $1 many times. Yeah. David, this was a pleasure. I appreciate you taking time to be on the show. Shout out to Sari Chickerell for introducing us. She does an incredible job in everything she does with PR and just her whole business acumen and everything that she does, not only in business, but for the community as well. Appreciate you taking time. Think community, if David can help you David Fishman, owner of Cadillac Travel Group. They know what they're doing. They've been in business for almost 40 years. CadillacTravel.com. David, thanks so much for being on the show. Think Community, thanks so much. David,
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks
Thanks
for having me. Take care. Thanks.